Ahoy, friends. It's me, Dave Landau. After a long night on stage, I like to kick back with a captain's hat and a fine cigar and watch the Dennis and Andy show. These guys are huge nerds, but they're the kind that you actually want to hang out with. Enjoy them. I do.
Back us on Indiegogo.
Back us on Indiegogo. I love that. Hello, everybody. It is Sunday. Sunday Fun Day. It is Sunday Fun Day. You see, I was not making it up. It is Sunday. My shirt says it. It must be true. We are here today. We watched a couple movies that dropped on Netflix this past week, and we want to talk about them. And Dennis has got a book in the mail to show. I got a book in the mail to show. We'll do that later. And, of course, you saw the video, Kor-Drath, The Reckoning. There will be a reckoning. Please check it out. Link in the description below. Of course, talking Kor-Drath, I do want to share this. I finally finished that 2-page spread that took Dennis maybe, I want to say, 5 minutes to write. And took me over a week to draw. So that's why writers get paid less.
Just remember, keep talking smack. I can always go back and re-edit the ending.
I don't know what smack I'm talking. I think you wrote a very, very cool story, and there is the 2-page spread. In fact, we don't need to see our faces. Let's just show the spread. There it is. I don't know if I drew enough people. That's the problem, writers. Hey, I'm watching Viking vs. Saints. So's my daughter. She's a little annoyed I'm not in there with her, but a man's got to make the bones, So anyhow, 2-page spread, pages 2 and 3. So if you were like, I wonder how Kor-Drath's going to open. Is it going to be a slow open? Pages 2 and 3. What does that tell you? So there it is right there. And if you're looking at this going, wait a second, Kor-Drath has a full head of hair. Well, there's a reason he looks the way he does on the cover. If you want to know why, Dennis, what are they going to have to do?
You need to back the book because it's ready. You got to read it. Get the book, read the story, love the story, love the art.
That's right. Just look at that cinematic right there. It's like a movie scene. And that's what we were going for. I bust Dennis's balls, but it's cool. You got the Kor-Drath right here, Red Lines Tribe. You can kind of see his tattoo. You can see all the red lines guys have the red line tattoo on different parts of their body. And of course, they're fighting the Anaconda Tribe. You can see the Anaconda tattoo on various parts. Like this guy's proud of being an Anaconda. Look at that, Dennis. It's all on his back. So
he is. Look at that.
Yeah. So guys, go back Kor-Drath now. First stretch goal has been unlocked. And then down here, you've got the leader of the Red Line Tribe here, skewering a guy. Kor-Drath slicing some dude's arm off. And then, what's going to go down? He's telling Kor-Drath, get ready for battle. So anyhow, just want to show you guys that. Hello. Let's talk about the movies. Let's talk about Lou. Lou is the first movie. We didn't watch these together. I was at my house. Dennis was at his. I get an email like most of you guys do that probably subscribe to Netflix that says, hey, coming soon and whatever. And, I did. I got an email about this movie, Lou. with starring Allison Janney, who was from The West Wing, and then I most remember her from the show Mom, which was a sitcom. I was curious to watch this because obviously The West Wing was a drama. I didn't really watch The West Wing, so I'm most, like I said, I know her more from Mom, which was a comedy. This movie is not a comedy. It is a suspense thriller. It stars Juicy Smollett's sister, whose first name I don't remember. Do you, Dennis?
It's Journey.
Journey? Is that what you said? Like the band?
It's spelled different, but it's pronounced Journey. Pretty much like the band Journey.
Journey Smollett. And I know
Yes.
it's not pronounced that way, but we like to make fun of Jesse because, he was lynched by some MAGA guys apparently in sub-zero weather. Anyhow, Dennis, tell them what the story's about a little bit.
Well, the story, there's a young girl who winds up getting kidnapped, and her mother, played by Journey, teams up with this mysterious woman from town, played by Allison Janney, which, right before it, she's taking out her own money. This is a small town in the middle of nowhere, and they team up together in order to pursue the kidnapper, and the whole movie is about testing their limits, and you're finding out that it isn't just a simple kidnapping. There is more to it than this.
It is. And there's other little twists involved too that I thought were rather interesting in the movie. And we're not going to ruin any of those for you because it is a pretty tight movie. It's an hour and 45, somewhere around there. It kicks off at a pretty good pace. So that's cool. Eric the Guapo. Hello. It's pretty fast moving, nice pace. I give it up performance-wise. We don't want to spoil anything, so we'll just have to talk about performances. Performance-wise, Allison Janney, I thought, did a really, really good job. I believed her as the character. It does take place in the 80s. We can tell you that. Not a spoiler. I think one of the reasons they did that, Dennis and I were talking about this last night. We all went out to dinner, families and stuff, is so they could eliminate things like cell phones and modern technology, which, if it was set current day, wouldn't have made the story as good, or they would have had to have. I mean, they could have worked around it because the story does take place. Is it Seattle? Or it's somewhere in Washington State.
It doesn't specifically say. It's a small town out in we'll call it the Seattle-ish area,
Yeah.
it looks like. And because they don't have cell phones, it takes place, and they pinpoint. You can tell by the vehicles. Reagan's giving a speech on the TV, which is cool.
I'm sorry, who'd you say?
It's setting.
Who's giving a speech?
Reagan.
See, you first said Reagan.
Reagan.
Ronald Reagan. Like ray
That's
gun.
literally what I'm saying.
No. Say ray gun.
Ray gun.
No. Say Flash Gordon carries a ray gun.
Andy's going to get smacked next time I see him.
Oh my God. Don't fault me for your hick accent from the Midwest where you just can't pronounce.
I can't help it. You can't pronounce Wisconsin, right?
Oh my God. Okay. Anyhow, yes, Ronald Reagan. And by the way, tangent, because I go on those with ADHD. Do you own the comic books, Reagan's Raiders, Dennis?
I do not.
Really?
Yes.
So, talking about Lou, it's a good story. Ronald Reagan does tip you off. Oh, I'm sorry. I own those.
I don't know if I've ever seen them even at a convention.
Oh my! But you've seen them.
I know they exist. I have not seen them. I have never actually held a copy of them. No.
Guess what's happening Wednesday, my friend? I'm digging them out when we're off stream, so you can, because everything's alphabetized, buddy. I can find them.
I know you can. Good on you. Good on you.
So now we'll correct a flaw in your comic book journey. We're going to a con.
I would be curious because that might be something I add to my list then. But
going to a convention in South Carolina this upcoming weekend. Honest, dude, I see them in dollar boxes all the time.
Oh, that's probably why I usually don't dig through the dollar boxes too often.
What a bunch of now. Okay, this is a good transition to our next movie. When I tell Dennis what a bunch of bullshit that is, because I've seen you dig through dollar boxes.
But
And
I didn't say never, so you're applying infinities to it. I said I usually don't, because most of the books that are on my list are never in the dollar box. Now, if there's nothing else there, like I've looked on the back walls, I looked for the keys that I need, missing issues, and I got time, I'll flip through some dollar boxes and just see if there's some good reading. But no, I don't spend most of my time digging through the dollar boxes. I go for the good stuff. Not that you can't find some good reading in dollar boxes. We did at a shop that we stopped at. They had a bunch of dollar boxes, and I looked through it and found some cool little comics that I would have never picked up. And for $1, even if they suck, it's $1.
like Faith number 1.
See, we are on a tangent.
You picked up Faith number 1.
I didn't. I did not put it in my pile to buy.
Somehow it went home with you. We don't need to get down your sick road of books you buy that nobody cares
how about. Andy sticks them in there when I go to the restroom. Yes, Andy put that book right in the middle and laughed his butt off after I bought it.
I did. So anyhow, Dennis, so on Wednesday,
let's see the cover.
On what? Oh, you want to
keep
it
up?
Right.
Let's see it.
All right, we'll keep the tangent train going. There's Reagan's Raiders. It's not just the cover. I can show you some guts as well.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, the art was good. It's Rich Buckler, man. Rich Buckler. I want to say, well, it says Dick Ayers first, so I'm guessing Dick drew it. Dick Ayers drew it and Rich inked it. Look, it's Deathlock, kind of. I wish Rich drew it because his layouts would have been a little more dynamic and exciting. But yeah, I own both of them. It's only 2 issues.
How's the story? Good?
Dude, I haven't read this thing in forever.
Well, see, that's kind of the important part. You gotta have that. Genuine let's see. Blackjack is here. Oh, look at that. He even read it. And then Genuine Comics. Hey.
That's who we'll be with this Tuesday at 2 p.m. We'll be on Genuine Comics YouTube channel for a little chat.
Oh yeah.
So and we'll look at the second issue as well. I'm just skimming through this quick. Oh, that's a good shot right there.
No, I would probably pick that up. So that feels like a must-have when we go to we're going to the South Carolina Comic-Con Junior on the what was it? 9th?
And then this one is by art by Keith Royster, Rich Buckler, and Scott Gladfelter. I'm assuming Rich once again did the inking, so it's a different artist on this one. It's not Dick Ayers. I'm guessing Rich did a lot on the look of Ronald Reagan. I do like the art in this one a little bit better. You can see look at George Bush. He wishes he looked like that. That's a little more Neil Adams-esque, which is, Rich Buckler was heavily influenced by Neil. So, yeah, I'm going to dig these out so you can check them out and be jealous.
Well, I was just going to make a comment, and I think Eric kind of beat me. He says, look at that dialogue. I was just going to say, I hope that writer got paid by the word.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll definitely dig these out for you to check out. And, there was supposed to be a number 3. Now, this only has 2 issues, so I don't know if it ever happened. But anyhow. So, on to the next movie, Blonde.
Whoa! We didn't even finish with Lou yet. We got to at least grade it.
Oh yeah, we got to grade Lou. We got to
give it our CGC grading.
Man, I totally forgot. I'm going to go with a strong 8.0. I really liked it. Yeah, it was tight. The main male actor. I don't suppose you still have the IMDb up, do you?
Oh, I've got it in here, but it's Logan Marshall Green.
That was the main guy?
I think so. I'm pretty sure that was him. Give me a second.
He's recognizable. You'll recognize
that's him. Logan Marshall Green.
Yeah, you'll recognize him. He's a good actor. He's been in a bunch of stuff. I thought it was really tight. It's a Netflix movie, and you know what? 8.0. I thought it was tight, and I think it's worth your time to watch if you like suspense thrillers.
I enjoyed it, not as much as Andy. The one twist that was in there was a bit of a surprise. I kind of had gathered something, but it was good. The thing with Allison Janney, they're making her be a big hard ass, and she is 6 foot tall, and I think like a half an inch. She's literally my height. So, but she's not super built. She's ex-CIA, and, she's got some good moves and stuff like that. And the story's not bad. I thought it was a decent story. Journey, her character kind of drove me up the wall, and for me, kind of detracted from it. I know Andy didn't agree with that. And she was another one of those characters where I'm like, well, that's stupid. You just made a stupid mistake, another stupid mistake. Okay, you're so stupid. I hope you die in this movie. I hope Darwin just comes in and reaches his hands down and grabs you. So I did like the movie overall. I thought the girl who played V was adorable, and which is the daughter. Overall, it was a solid movie, especially for Netflix. I would have been a little disappointed if I had dropped $15 and saw it at a theater, but I'm giving it a 6.5. It's definitely a good popcorn flick if you've got not much else to do, and watch it. So solid 6.5.
Now, just real quick, even though we did our ratings, I totally did forget how much he hated the character Journey Smollett played. I honestly didn't hate her. And I'll be honest, she's an attractive actress. So, I was taken in by her wildly womanly charms.
Well, if that's the case, Andy, and it's all about the womanly charms, then you should love Blonde, which we'll be reviewing next.
She did do dumb shit in the movie, but
so much dumb shit, I couldn't take it anymore.
I don't know if I would classify it as so much dumb shit, because she was worried about her daughter who was kidnapped. She's not thinking straight. I can let it go.
Yeah.
Like I said, we don't want to spoil anything. You guys watch the movie. We'll give you one example. I'm sure this is one thing Dennis is talking about. It takes place in the 80s. They're using one of these big chunky satellite radios. It's not a ham radio. It's just
they're like large handheld CBs. I mean, that's what CBs, walkie-talkies.
Right. So Allison Janney's character has a very interesting past. She knows a lot of shit. And she says, what are you doing? Turn that off. We don't need this. Don't use this. And of course, at one point in the movie, I mean, that's foreshadowing. Dummy uses it. And of course, by using it, it tips somebody off, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure that's one of the things Dennis is talking about. But I thought the way they did it, it didn't really bother me that much. So anyhow,
it's still
moving on to Blonde.
It's worthwhile.
It's worth watching. I won't even pronounce her name because I'll mess it up. Hail to you as well. Moving on to Blonde, the story of Marilyn Monroe, based on this book that this woman wrote, that I never read the book, but I gather that what I get from it is it's based on this book, and the writer of the book dramatized and fictionalized stuff that she couldn't find out. So it's like, oh, Marilyn Monroe was married to a baseball player, Joe DiMaggio. I can write that because I can look it up. Oh, Marilyn Monroe was married to Arthur Miller, the playwright. I can write about that because I can look it up. But what about this gap? Not really sure. I'll just make shit up. Honestly, that was
totally fictionalized. The book was a fictionalized biography, which in of itself is just like, okay, it's just fiction. Take the word biography out and just say it's a fictional piece.
Now, the actress, I thought was, what's the actress' name?
Ana de Armas. She was awesome.
She was phenomenal. She got the voice down. She got the mannerisms down, going by the few movies of Marilyn's I've seen and clips and stuff. I thought she was phenomenal. The director, Andrew Dominique, just literally It's like, dude, I don't know. I'm looking at his IMDb, and there's only a few movies of his that I've seen. I never saw Chopper, which sounds interesting. Killing Them Softly, I did see. That's 10 years ago. The Assassination of Jesse James is 15 years ago. I remember that one as well. Oh, he directed a couple episodes of Mindhunter, which I actually liked. So that's interesting. But honestly, it's like, dude, I'm just not a big fan of these artsy fartsy fuckers when they film shit. And this movie went back and forth between black and white and color, and that annoyed the shit out of me. And I was trying to see if there was a distinct reason he was like, these are black and white, this is color. And I really couldn't find a distinct line. Did you, Dennis?
No, so
it was
he
haphazard.
made interesting transitions. So he tried to make it stylized, like when he would focus in on something, he would bring it kind of like what Star Wars did when they would zoom in and it would be black around there and it would focus in right through a hole. And it was like, okay, I can see what he's doing. And then we would go from color and then go right into a black and white scene, which you would think, oh, well, maybe it's a complete, you're doing a foreshadowing or a flashback of, or something like that. And sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, it is. Oh wait, that didn't really fit with that. So I'm confused. It had a lot of interesting directing for visuals. A few things landed. The bulk of them did not. I thought it was just a complete assassination of good story showing. It was terrible.
It was terrible. It's NC-17. We can tell you why. There's lots of boobies in the movie of the main actress playing Marilyn. Okay, that's fine. There's no gratuitous. It was good. There's no gratuitous sex in the movie. I don't know if this ever happened, but they implied that she was in a 3-way relationship, a throuple with Charlie Chaplin Jr. And who was the other guy?
I don't remember. Charlie Chaplin Jr. is the only one that I remembered.
Well, hold on. I'll tell you in a second. The thing is, and I'm kind of a stickler for this stuff because I did look it up. I was curious about Charlie Chaplin Jr. and I looked it up and I'm like, wow, they couldn't even go with an accurate hairstyle for this dude.
Well, I'm wondering, my thought about this was, well, next time we get a chance and we talk to Charlie's London, I wonder if she has any insight into it because, it is theoretically the Charlie Chaplin estate. Maybe she knows something about that.
But I'm just like, so Charlie Chaplin Jr. was played by Xavier Samuel. And I mean, the haircut he had, I was looking at going, that seems like a pretty modern haircut. But it was 1950s. And I'm like, so I Googled a picture of Chaplin Jr. I'm like, his hair didn't look anything like that. You couldn't do an accurate haircut. The singing, Dennis, I don't know if you knew this. The singing for when Marilyn was singing was actually done by somebody else. Now, the funny thing is,
we were actually talking about that. My wife and I watched it. And we were like, that's not her voice. We were both, we didn't know it, but it did not feel like it was her.
Which is weird because usually the actor will do the singing and they go, well, it's not the exact voice, but at least it's the person playing him.
Look, if Hugh Jackman can sing, anybody should be able to sing like that.
Exactly. But what I was going to say is if they're not going to have the actress sing, why not use real clips of Marilyn singing? Because it's still lip singing. The other person in the throuple was Eddie Robertson Jr., who was somebody. I'm not exactly. The name rings a bell. I assume he was the son of a famous actor or somebody in Hollywood. So NC-17, because of the boobs, there were 2 abortion scenes in the movie, which, it's the typical stuff. She's laid out on the table. Her legs are up in the stirrups, the sheet's up, and the doctor is in front. And they were shot not from the standpoint of the camera going in, but like there was a camera inside of the vajayjay looking out. and you saw the medical equipment coming in, and I'm like, that's
And-
just fucking gross.
Right? I mean, it was disturbing, and so the POV did not need to be that.
I did not need to see a POV of me looking at. Hey, you know what, Dennis? I don't remember it, but I now know what it must feel like when you're being born. Head first, you're coming
Right?
out.
I mean, literally, you see this, you're looking out this little thing, and all you see is this eye looking right in, and you're
But
like,
dude, you see like the inner walls and stuff.
I know, it was, and for mine, throughout it, you get to see an embryo, a little inside of her, and you see like the little baby curled up, and this happens throughout the movie.
When she's
And
pregnant,
then
yeah.
I was waiting. It was so crass that it reminded me a lot of Ally McBeal, like that dancing baby. I was waiting for that baby to pop out and start dancing and start doing the ooga ooga.
Well, you know what was you know what else was really disturbing is when she was married to DiMaggio and which is funny because they never once said his name. You knew who it was because if you know Marilyn Monroe, you know she was married to Joe DiMaggio for like a year.
Right.
But they never called him
the second husband.
They never called him Joe. They never mentioned his name.
Matter of fact,
just said the baseball player.
He is listed as like ex-athlete.
Yeah. And then did they ever say Arthur Miller's name?
No. They talked about Madge, and they talked about some of his work, so you could infer who it was, but they never actually came out and used his name either, which was really weird. Nor did they mention John F. Kennedy by name. You just see him in bed. The actor looks like him. He's watching nuclear missiles type things launching. And
well, not only that, he's in bed. This is spoiler filled, by the way, guys. JFK's in bed, and like, so she flies to New York to meet with JFK, and she gets off the plane. She's all drugged up. She gets off the plane. The Secret Service is basically, there's two big Secret Service guys on either side of her, and they're basically carrying her down the hallway. Her feet are dragging, and she's like,
drugged up.
Dude, what's the rush? And she gets into the hotel room, and JFK's in bed, basically naked. He's got stuff covering his bits and pieces. He's on the phone. He's on the phone with somebody important. You don't know who. And then he's like pointing down, so you can tell, and you'd think for NC-17 this would be why, but it's tastefully done. You can tell she starts, chicka, chicka, chicka to JFK, and then he's basically on the phone. He's like, and he pushes her head down,
and then she's like looking at him, and he's like, "Don't be shy."
Yeah, don't be shy. And she's talking to herself, like, "Oh my God, I don't want to throw up. I'm trying not to gag. I've got to swallow." You're just like, oh man,
this inner monologue, and I'm just like, this movie portrayed Marilyn Monroe so poorly, and we know Hollywood in general did not like Marilyn Monroe, and they always had negative thoughts and reactions in general towards it.
Yeah. And then there was another thing. Oh, when she's married in the movie the couple times, she calls her husband not by their name, but it's always
Daddy.
Daddy, did you like this, Daddy? Did you like that? And they set up early on in the movie daddy issues. And you're just like, geez, that is so creepy. If my wife, and they don't have kids, and if the POV sounds like it might be good. Well, that's just it. One of the criticisms before I watched the movie was in a Variety article, and you could tell it was written by a big time pro-abortion person, because they're like, oh, this movie had so many bad things. It was really anti-abortion, and then she went into the other bad things. But I read that, and I'm like, well, now I kind of want to watch the movie. But the kick in the balls to me wasn't from the movie. It was from that fucker right there. Because they watched it. Him and his wife watched it Friday night. And I was like, and he's like, oh, you should definitely watch it so we can review it. And I'm like, oh. And I'm like, well, why wasn't NC-17? Well, we don't want to give away any spoilers. Lots of boobs. And I'm like, oh. I'm like, okay. I said, but it's 3 hours. It's like 2 hours and 45 minutes long. He's like, yeah, don't worry about that. I'm like, okay. So I'm watching it last night. I've got that on my iPad. This is what I like about football. With football, I don't have to hear anything because I don't really care about the announcers. I can literally just watch football. So I've got that on the big screen, and on my iPad in front of me, I'm watching Blonde with my headphones, and I'm just looking up at it. Football is my peripheral vision. You know, if it's my team playing, I won't watch anything else. But if it's just football to watch with my daughter, I can. I got not even halfway through the movie. I think I wrote Dennis and I said, this is so boring. This is so boring. And then I didn't tell you this, Dennis. At one point I clicked to see how much time was left. There were 53 minutes left, right?
Yeah.
I've never done this. On Netflix, you can choose your playback speed. You can slow it down, speed it up. I jacked it to 1.5, which is the fastest you can go. I watched the last 53 minutes at 1.5 times speed. I burned through it in 20 minutes. Believe it or not, you could still understand everything they were saying.
Yeah.
It didn't speed up to the point where I could wait. Let me finish. It didn't speed up to where I couldn't understand it. And it didn't look bad either. Like it wasn't like, super fast forward. It was only 1.5 times. But I tell you what, I shaved 33 minutes off of that movie by watching it that fast. And I wish I would have watched the whole movie that way, because instead of 2 hours and 20 minutes of my time, it would have been maybe an hour and a half. And all I got to say is, Dennis, thanks for that kick in the balls from where you live 30 minutes away.
Well,
I really enjoyed that.
You guys need to know the rest of the backstory. So this was the part. So Andy's like, oh, Blonde came out. Everybody's talking about it. We need to watch that for a review. And I'm like, okay. He goes, well, I won't have time. I've got to watch Lou. So I'm like, all right, we'll watch Blonde. I'll get Susie to watch it. And, we'll sit down and we'll watch it together. And he goes, well, just let me know how it is. So the problem is, if I tell Andy this is garbage, she's like, oh, I'm out. He'll be out. He'll just walk away. This wasn't just a bad movie. This was so bad that we started watching it, and my wife's like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, besides bad? She goes,
that is literally...
What the hell did Andy make us watch? I'm like, I don't know. We just got to finish this. And then we realized, because he's texting us in the middle of it, and we didn't realize it's like almost 3 hours long. And she's like, oh, my God. So my wife's most hated movie of all time is 2001 Space Odyssey. She hates Stanley Kubrick's 2001 Space Odyssey with every fiber of her being. So we're sitting here watching this, and she goes, oh, my God, this is so bad. This is so wrong. Most of this is not even accurate, because she knows a lot more about Marilyn Monroe than I do. And she was just beside herself. So I'm like, screw this. It sounds like you're really focused on the movie, Andy. Right? So it was so bad. We got done. I'm like, we just got to get through this movie. We just got to get through this movie. I'm like, oh my God, this is so bad. And then Andy's texting us because he's watching Lou at the same time. Well, how was it? Yeah, we have to do a review on this movie. So we all went out for dinner last night, and Andy hadn't watched it yet. And Susie goes, he's going to watch this damn movie. He fucking made us watch it. He's going to watch this movie. So Andy's like, how was it? I'm like, dude, it was NC-17 for a reason, And he goes, oh, I like boobs, lots of boobs. And he's like, oh, nice. Yeah. And I'm like, just got to watch it. Well, they're on Graham's, because Graham launched his campaign yesterday, and he's talking to the guys, and I'm on the stream working in the background. And all of a sudden he goes, oh, yeah, Dennis watched Blonde, and he liked it, and da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, oh, no, I never said I liked it. I said we have to review it, and it was NC. Even my wife's like, he was very specific not to say there was anything good, other than it showed lots of boobs. So that way Andy had to watch this garbage and suffer the way we did. We finished it, and Susie's like, I would rather sit down and watch 2001 Space Odyssey over and over again than to ever watch this. It was that bad. It is now her least favorite movie of all time.
You, not only is it bad enough you kicked me in the balls, now I know why God made us with two balls. Because Dennis kicked me in one and his wife kicked me in the other. That's why.
You made us watch it, so you started it.
How did I make you watch it?
Dennis, you need to watch this. You watch this first. Let me know how it is so I can watch Lou. Okay.
You could have turned it off halfway through and been like, Andy, don't waste your time.
No, because then we wouldn't get a chance to review it. Because we already said we were going to review this. So you have to watch it in order to review it. You got to take the good with the bad. I just never thought there was anything this bad. This movie, and again, Ana de Armas was great. She only broke character a couple of times with her accent. I think she did a good job through it, but she could not carry this movie through because it was bad. Every other character was terrible.
The cast was great. I don't fault any of the cast. It's the fucking director who had his head up his ass, apparently going, I'm going to make an artsy-fartsy Marilyn Monroe movie based on total bullshit. And not all of it was based on bullshit. It was just a bad movie. The directing was awful. I will give it a 0. This book, if I sent this book in to CGC and it came back, obviously no books come back from CGC a flat 0, I assume, unless you send in like one page. Like, hey, I've got Action Comics.
It's a 0.5. It's a 0.5 is the lowest.
Yeah. So I'll give this movie a 0.5. Do not waste your time. If you do waste your time, put it on 1.5 speed. Do something else while you're watching it. She's a very pretty actress. I don't know if it was worth her time to be doing that many boob shots and stuff for her. You know, it's not going to hurt her career. But, and you know, honestly, as a casting director, I wouldn't look at this. And this kind of ties in with comic books in a way. I wouldn't look at this and be like, well, I'm never hiring this actress because she's a good actress. All the actors are good. It's the director's fault.
Yep.
It's kind of like if I do if somebody draws a comic book and the comic book blows, it could blow because the artwork sucks. But if the artwork doesn't suck and it's the story that sucks, don't put that on the artist and never hire the artist again.
Right.
You know?
Nope, I agree. I am giving it a 1.0, probably my lowest movie of all time. And the only reason I didn't go 0.5 was Ana de Armas was good. She was good, and she was pleasing to the eye. She was in character. She felt very believable as Marilyn Monroe, or Norma Jean, as they refer to her throughout most of the movie. So she looked good. And yes, there were lots of boobage shots, and even my wife's like, wow, there's just so much of it. And she looks great. She's got a fantastic body. Her acting was good. So she was the highlight. She's the only reason this movie doesn't get a 0.5. Other than that, this movie had zero redeeming qualities to it. There was nothing. It was so absolutely crap. I mean, it is one of my worst movies. The only movie I've ever paid for in the theater and walked out was Highlander 2, where I'm like, screw it, keep my money, I'm out of here, I'm out. I would have, if this was in the theater, I would have walked out and actually walked up and said, give me my damn money back. It was that bad.
I agree. Did you say when you walked out of Highlander, you asked for your money back, or you just walked out?
Nope, we just walked out. My wife and I both were like, this is one of the worst movies we've ever seen. We got up halfway out and we walked and left. So,
I'm going to actually, hold on. I've walked out of one movie. It was in the past 10 years, but I'm blanking on the title, but I know the main actor. So I'm going to, because I'm curious to see what Dennis thinks of this movie. So hold on. I'm Googling it. Let me see. Hopefully Dennis cannot see our little screen share at the bottom and read it well, he could, but he won't know the movie. So let me see if I can find the movie here and tell you what it was I walked out of. Let's see, because I'm very curious. But while I'm doing that, talk about Kor-Drath. Oh, wait. Let me see.
But while you're doing that, I will show. I've got to get this taste of the
Oh
movie
yeah.
out of my mouth. So I'm going to show you guys something that came in the mail. What Highlander 2 is box office gold. You know, how can a movie with Sean Connery be bad? That's what you think about when you go into it. It can't be bad unless all you want's a paycheck. Well, obviously, Sean had a few bills to pay because that was one of the worst scripts I've ever seen, and we walked out.
Oh, you know what I
And
walked out of? I walked out of Into the Woods. The Chris Pine was in that.
oh yeah,
You know the movie?
I do.
I walked out of that because well, okay. It was a screening a friend of mine invited me to. It was like 10 o'clock at night. This movie's 2 hours and 5 minutes long. I knew that going in. It was 11 o'clock. I had a half-hour drive home, and I was like, I can't take this anymore. I'd rather just go home now and go to bed than be here another hour. So I walked out of this movie. So there you go.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I didn't think it was that bad. I've seen worse, but it was not good. And I'm a
Only
big
movie.
fan of Anna Kendrick, so
I don't know if I didn't walk out of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too.
I didn't either. I mean, I did see that one. I thought that was, I didn't mind.
All right,
Right?
Dennis, why don't you show us what are you going to show us the books you got, or was there something else? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
no. I got to get that taste out of my mouth. So I got it in the mail yesterday.
Hey, Dennis, guess what? That's what Marilyn said after going down on JFK.
Oh, she probably did. It was probably inner monologue that they cut out
Right.
because it was all. So I wound up getting Anthony Figueroa, The Hands of God. So this is a really nice, thick book. The artwork is actually really cool, and I'm going to show you a couple of things. I'm just going to show you a couple of pages that's in it. It was on Indiegogo, and I hadn't picked up his original one, so I got the deal where you could get the old book and the new one. This is actually really kind of cool. There's your chapter 2, Sins of the Past. The artwork's good. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I literally just cracked it open before we went live streaming, and then I wound up backing. I also picked up the Justice City because that was his first campaign. I hadn't seen that one, so that was cool. He winds up. This was kind of neat. These were the cards that we wound up getting. And then they got some nice little stuff on the back. So he put them in a nice little holder. I thought that was kind of a nice touch. And then you've got the bookmarks and a bunch of cards that came with it. Again, overall, I kind of like the bling. So this is a metal bookmark, the Justice City metal bookmark, kind of shiny. And then this is another metal bookmark. Very well done, I thought. And this I thought was kind of neat. There's one of the big cards, Nero. And I thought this was a really nice touch. He actually puts, what you wind up picking up, what you qualified for, and then what your contribution number and everything was on it. I thought that was a really good one. And then I'll show you the last couple of things in here. And I'm just going to say I can't wait to actually read it. So there was the Justice City. Oh, here, I'll go this way. So overall, nice. I'm glad I got it in mail. It was a nice heavy package. Lots of stuff. The artwork looks fantastic. I actually can't wait to read this. So anyway, he just is launching. We might have to give him a shout, see if he wants to come onto our show and talk to us. But overall, can't wait to read this book.
Blackjack says, on the flip side, DNA, if you could see a movie in the theater for the first time again, what would it be? Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
For the first time again, Star Trek II Wrath of Khan, hands down.
God, I knew
Which I
you were going to go
literally
there.
just did. And we just saw Jaws, which was another one in the theater for the first time in a long time, and that was also a almost perfect movie to see in the theater again.
I'll go with Green Lantern. Just kidding. I want to see Dennis's reaction. No, I'm going to go. I'm going to have to throw it back as well. Now, when you say first time again, I'm going to take that as like you were memory wiped. So you're literally going into it fresh, right? So you're not going like, oh, I've seen this. Oh, it's back in theaters. So that's how I'm taking the question. And, you know, oh, get out of here.
Yes! Blackjack, you're my new best friend.
Okay, so anyhow, I'm going to take it as a movie that I could wipe my memory so I get the whole fun experience again. This one just popped into my mind. It's not one of it is one of my favorite comedies. I would go with Steve Martin, The Jerk. If I could wipe my mind and not and I own it on DVD. If I could mind erase that and it was in theaters, but I knew, I was still the big Steve Martin fan that I am, and I'd be like, "Oh my God, he put out this movie. What is it?" And I'd go see The Jerk in theaters again. And even if it came back out, like, I don't know how many years it's been. I know it's been 40 or so. But if they were to bring that back, I would go see that again in a heartbeat. Dennis and Andy, Justin wants to know, did either of you get Isom? Well, you read my mind.
You asked.
Do you mean this right here? Isom? This book right here? I did, as you can tell. It's a rather thick book. I give Eric July, and I haven't read it yet, so can't review it. I have not read it yet, but where'd I put it? Oh, not is it in a Gemini mailer.
Hey guys, leave a message down below if you see Andy completely pixelated.
Oh, I know they do. I can see the stupid. I'm just going to make me a little. You don't need full screen for this. I can tell my dumb Wi-Fi. I'm going to definitely try my other computer the next time we live stream. He had his own Gemini type mailers printed up. Look at that. And this is for one book. I don't know if you guys know how thick a Gemini mailer is. Most of you probably do because obviously you all backed First Man. So this is a Gemini mailer. So not only... Now, I only got one book. Obviously, he offered more than one type of book with the different covers. So his Gemini mailer is bigger, but look how much thicker it is. Now, in a regular Gemini mailer, you can easily put 4 books into one Gemini mailer because they're meant to expand. But man, he covered his bases. If like you ordered everything, I'm willing to bet he did this because he could put a T-shirt in here as well.
Yeah, I bet that he probably did.
That is my guess, is he was able to put a T-shirt in here. So I haven't read it yet. Once I read it, I'll let you guys know. But I did get Eric July's Isom. I don't, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I will say I did look through it, and not to be a Debbie Downer, but on the inside front credit page, I doubt, well, maybe Eric will see this. Eric, my man, the production value, because I can also say the production value of this book is fantastic without having to read it. You don't have to read it to tell that. Nice heavy cover, nice paper. You're missing the credit for who drew the front cover. You should always have on the credit page front cover art by. That goes with all your variants. And then back cover art by. I have no idea who drew this back cover. And I know who drew the front cover from being on streams with Ethan because it's a friend of his. I don't know the artist personally, but you got to give credit to your cover artists. So you got to do that because you've got your writer, which is you, Cliff Richards, artist, Gabe Altaib is the colorist, our buddy. Eric Weathers did the lettering, who's fantastic. And then you give credit for copy editor Alan Ford and Caro Brown. And then Marcos Rios is the concept artist. Got to give cover credit, my man, front and back, even if they didn't sign it. Like I know this artist signed it. I don't have my reading spectacles on, but for some reason he went by a pseudonym. And then on the back cover, I couldn't find a signature. And even if I did, it might not be legible because not everybody's is. So either give them credit right on the covers or on the inside front cover. Yeah, it was. Yeah, Blackjack says it was Cannon White who did this cover, and he went with a pseudonym, but cover art credit not on there. No, he did. I'm looking. I don't see anywhere on this. All I see is the signature that Cannon White's using as a pseudonym, but in the book itself. I mean, guys, this is the credit page right here. I'm not missing anything. I don't see cover credit. So I believe it needs a front and back. And then I even looked in the back, and let me just double check. Here's the inside back cover, which is all the legal mumbo jumbo. That's all that's on it. And let me just double check. Yeah, there's no credit there. And then, in the book itself, I didn't see anything either. So, you might want to give the credit. Give the credit.
Blackjack says, I lucked out the first time I saw Cure was on the big screen. It absolutely is a must-see on the big screen. I was so happy when they finally put it out on Blu-ray finally and cleaned it up. That is a fantastic movie. Just like Smokey and the Bandit, another one that you have to see on the big screen. Not because of the special effects, just because it is such a wonderful movie.
Yep. How's my screen look now, just out of curiosity?
Not too much better.
Damn. Oh, yeah, just dropped down. How was the book? I haven't read it yet. I assume you're talking about Isom. I just got it. Not today. I got it yesterday, but it's a thick book. So I haven't had a chance to sit down and read it yet. So
yeah, it's just like I hadn't had a chance to read mine either, so we will find out. But God's Hand looks really good, so I will give this a read and let you guys know what I think of it. But it looks like very much I'm glad I backed it.
There you go, guys. We're going to take off. It is Sunday, fun day. Yuck, 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 yuck.
Well, yeah, and I'm probably going to wind up doing it. We are making a vat of chili. And I've got a friend coming over. He had sent off my Star Trek 1 gold key with William Shatner's signature, and it came back. So he's going to be dropping it off this afternoon. And I've got some ghost pepper chili that Susie wanted me to make. So I have been up early this morning. So it's down there simmering. Yeah, we will see. I got a feeling it's going to be uber spicy. So it's going to be awesome. And I did get my new Playmate Starship Enterprise and my Mego Star Trek The Motion Picture Spock figure. So I will, at some point, try to be doing a video and unboxing for that. So nice. I don't know if I'll do it as a live or I just may pre-record it and pop it up for you guys.
All right. And we'll be back Wednesday at 5 p.m. with the special. Oh, wait. Nope. We'll be back Wednesday at 3:30 because my daughter works at 5.
Oh.
Yes. So Dennis, we'll talk offline. We have to confirm that our guests can do 3:30. If not, we will have another guest. That's why we haven't announced it yet. Oh, wait. Agent Cub says, I tried watching Blonde. I can watch about 20 minutes before I had to turn it off. Too depressing. Yeah. So anyhow, we will be back on Wednesday, 3:30 with a special guest who we will announce later.
And then at 8 o'clock on Wednesday, we'll be on Reenie's channel.
That's right. 8 o'clock p.m. Wednesday, we'll be on Reenie Draws, talking about Kor-Drath and other stuff she wants to chat about. So until then, everybody, have a good Sunday. If you're a football fan, I hope your team wins, unless it's the Packers. And if it's the Cowboys, whoop up those Commanders is what I meant to say. And for my daughter, go Bucks. And Aaron Rodgers, lose, but do well because you are my fantasy quarterback. Until next time, bye-bye, everybody.
Live long and prosper.
Well, hey, everybody, this is Andy. I'm with my buddy Dennis, and we are bringing you Kor-Drath, The Reckoning. Dennis and I created this for guys that like barbarian, badass, barbarism, bombastic, ballsy action, trying to get all the B words in. Kor-Drath is a book that we're taking the coolest parts of Conan and going, yeah, that's cool. We're going higher. Let me show you some of the tiers real quick. And while I'm doing that, afterwards, I should say, Dennis will go over some story stuff. You got the Get It All, where you can get every cover and the oversized artist edition, which shows my black and white art scanned in full color, so you can feel like you're holding originals in your hands. And then, of course, every individual cover you can get separately or as add-ons. That's my main cover, colored by Dan Lawless. Dennis, tell them a little bit about the book while I keep scrolling, and you guys can just look at this stuff. Link, of course, is in the description.
Look, we're focusing on instead of this big world, we're focusing on one narrow area, the Mirador Mountains. And there's 11 tribes, and we're going to be having an incredible story based around 3 of them. And if you're a fan of Conan and you like blood and guts, you like sword and sorcery, you played Dungeons and Dragons, or you played Pathfinder or other role-playing games, you love that type of feel, this is definitely a book for you. It's going to have everything from incredible battle scenes, in-depth story, all the way to just fantastic magic. And yeah, I think you guys are going to love this project.
There you go. Thanks, Dennis. And first stretch goal unlocked, Kor-Drath character card, 7x10, heavy stock paper. On the back, his stats are SRD 5E compatible, so you can play Kor-Drath in your game. Dennis mentioned brutal battles. Here's a look at the art to a 2-page spread, pages 2 and 3. So we kick off with action in the book right here. This is pages 2 and 3 in beautiful black and white. Of course, it's going to be colored. So guys, go check out Kor-Drath, The Reckoning now. The link is in the description below. Thank you for joining us. Always like and subscribe to our channels, and we'll catch you guys later.